Once again, this is James from the Wall Street Minute, standing right in front of the New York Stock Exchange. And well, we had a pretty decent week. Today's been a little shaky. There's been some fears this week of a renewed inflation surge. I'm not so sure I buy a surge, but it's probably higher than anybody feels comfortable with right now. And one thing we've learned since basically since the first of the year is that anytime there's some major disarray in the stock market, whether it's above average inflation numbers, a competitor that comes out of nowhere that says, hey, we can do this better than you, trade, tariffs or trade war talk, any of these things, if you were to buy on weakness, you would be way ahead. I would say there has been a no better case for buying on the dips than what you're currently seeing. And if you look at the big picture, which is the way I'm sort of looking at things right now, I look at this market and I see this is 1982 meeting 1994. And what do I mean by that? In 1982, Ronald Reagan was elected president and came in and created something called the Grace Commission, which they went over and found, $500 billion worth of government waste. I don't know what the real number was, but something like that. Many of the recommendations the Grace Commission made were not really acted on, but at the time it woke a lot of people up to show you how much waste there is in Washington. If you take that period of time and you mix it with 1994, which was the introduction of, basically for the general public, let's say, the introduction of the internet, as well as universal use of cell phones, which was a huge sort of technological as well as economic boom. I think you have those two things coming together right now, and it's really hard, despite the efforts of the mainstream media and many of the current administration's detractors, to be negative about what's going on right now. On the other side, I also wanted to mention that for a lot of people who don't really understand how the president is operating, he wrote a book in the 80s called The Art of the Deal. And I believe it was in the 80s. It might have been in the 90s, but I think it was in the 80s. And I would highly recommend you break out that book, whether you like the president or hate the president or whatever your position is. I'm not talking about politics. I'm just talking about his style of management. And I think you will find that it will give you better insight and make you a better investor in the current circumstances. Anyway, once again, this is James standing right in front of the New York Stock Exchange from the Wall Street Minute. Say hello, leave comments, and of course, subscribe to these videos.